What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit about DTube and decentralization. So I saw some new posts on Steemit. I'm still reading them about, well, this post was talking a little bit about free speak and DTube and about the marketing, and we're talking a little bit about, well, is it really decentralized? And I'm still reading those posts because the comments are really, really engaging, and I want to spend more time on them because they were really in depth, and I want to consider that more in future videos. But the main article I read, and I want to add in my 2 cents in this. So so the main argument here, I think, was that at least with DTube, that uh, that yeah, first you can use YouTube and like mirror the videos, and it saves a lot of storage. Uh, and most people are not going to be most people are not going to have those videos kind of removed from YouTube. Even though with the latest like crypto bans, a lot of stuff we're starting to talk, oh, we're all getting banned, but then now it seems like it was just some mistake, like some bot or something went and did something, and it seems like they're going back and revert whatever they did. So 99.9% of people probably is not going to be censored on YouTube, so it kind of makes sense to like mirror the video and put it on YouTube if you want to do that. But at the same time, with YouTube, you can use the IPFS hosting, so you can upload directly to either DTube servers, or you can pin it to your own server, or you can pay like $10 a month and use another server. And if you want to host your own kind of server and like distribute that video to like other people, it's probably not going to be that expensive. Like, you just need some computer, probably download some app, learn a little bit about IPFS, and you can do it yourself. And since most people are not going to get hundreds of thousands of views, I don't really think it's going to be an issue to host that like decentralized if you really want to go that in terms of storage. So I would say YouTube actually is decentralized. If you really want to go all out decentralized, you can with using IPFS. Um, and then the other aspects of YouTube, how they're using first a decentralized blockchain, Steam blockchain, and now they're also now working on their own Avalon blockchain that has been decentralized and been in beta now for around 6 months. So both the monetary aspect is being worked on becoming more and more decentralized by first using Steam and then now combining it with their Avalon blockchain. So you have two decentralized monetized systems, and you can host it decentralized over IPFS. But since it may just be faster to like use YouTube as storage, and it also like saves space, so you don't have to use their servers with IPFS, and you can pay it yourself with IPF if you want. Yeah, I mean, that is decentralization, I would say. And it is very, very interesting, like this topic, how the talks are sort of going in this industry. And I think the main challenge and the main excitement about decentralization is these long-term networks that you're trying to grow. So the most fascinating aspect about decentralization for me is, can you create networks like social networks that is truly decentralized, where you have people from all over the world that's watching your stuff, and also people from all over the world that is using proof of brain to sort of vote on that decentralized content. So I think that the main aspect that people are sort of trying to get back into is, with decentralization, I think they want to move away from the computer algorithms that kind of censors them. Like, the way people's content are censored is that it's not really being removed, but it's that it's not visible. Like these terms as shadow ban, or it's very, very hard to reach your audience. That is the main aspect that decentralization is trying to solve, because that's the main issue if you look at most people. So for example, What DTubers can do is they know that on their Steemit page, people are really gonna see when they put up something new, and they're gonna see it also on the DTube page, uh, which is like, and this is like what people truly want to achieve with decentralization. So it's more about, I would say, the infrastructure of what gets viewed, what gets tokens, the challenge of making so proof of brain get the tokens, someone that actually put in some energy and effort to try to provide more value than that existed in the past. And I think a little bit, maybe there's too much discussion about, oh, I used this word and my content got removed. And that's something that's real, it's happening on YouTube. But at the same time, it's like sometimes I think that people are trying to like, I think in many ways, if people used decentralized system with more responsibility, stuff would flow way better. And sometimes it feels like people just trying to push stuff used to get used to get banned, used to try to prove a point, but trying to push something to the extreme. And just because humans have free will, we can always like, in theory, yeah, you can push something. You can like try to make some super logical point by saying, okay, I cannot do all these crazy things because look, that guy did some crazy things and he got removed or whatever. I think that people probably should try to like look at it more from these decentralized networks from maybe more long-term aspects, seeing that this is like a very, very long process, like decade after decade after decade long process. And it's not really gonna, to make a wheel turn, it's gonna take so much energy and so many years in the beginning to make something happen. And then you also need to preserve it. And I think you preserve a lot of systems by trying to be responsive and using responsibility. Uh, and I think that is what's eventually is going to move people forward eventually more than trying to like, well, I don't know really. I mean, it's like maybe it is that sometimes it feels like people lack gratitude for the amazing work that has been put in now, 2 or almost 3 years. A lot of people have invested almost 3 years into DTube, and developers, creators, and it's really been working smooth. Like in some ways, I think that sometimes you maybe need to call that a success. Mm. Yeah, so it's like it's interesting. It's interesting to follow this industry. I'm so fascinated about like study people and like trying to see how why a human is doing certain things and see how things can somewhat move forward. And as I said in other videos, like such a big believer in video and using voice. And I think that the medium that you're using, uh, so I think you can say the same words, both in like, let's say text form and video form, but that the outcome is going to be way different. I think the video has way more influence. Um, yeah, so it's like, it's interesting. So I really would call DTube decentralized. And I think people have to understand that these like, I think DTubers really understand the value of a dollar, because a lot of people have really earned a couple of dollars for many, many years, like daily already now. Maybe not every day, but it's like a dollar here and there and a dollar here and there. I think it makes them view tokens and decentralized in a little bit of a different light than perhaps other token systems or whatever. Um, and I think really the DTube community is a little bit different compared to many other communities on Steam, but I can't tell for sure. But I look at it from proof of investment systems, like is a human investing their time and energy, and the easiest way to detect that is with voice and video, because it's like you can't get that back that time, and it's really obvious if someone is like into something and trying to learn and trying to grow and all of this. So I think that you always can make better progress, move systems to even more decentralized. But at the same time, I think that people are somewhat starting to kind of feel what their role is in the blockchain community, especially on the Steam community, and they sort of see how even if we make some super fast progress right now, uh, like if you move in $1 billion, uh, like let's say you move in like $100 billion in Steam today. I mean, in some ways, I think that actually may be worse in some ways, because quick success makes people become very maybe irrational and think that they can repeat some level of success again and again. While maybe this is the same with decentralization, that if you make decentralization in steps, maybe that produces better decentralization in the long term. Maybe people will have more appreciation and gratitude for decentralization when it takes longer, and seeing decentralization develop in, so they're like different layers you can look at decentralization, and that maybe if it goes slower but more stable, maybe that's better, like in the long term. I think so, because if you look at how human networks and human societies and how humans relate to each other, it is slow but steady. It's like it's trying to progress. It's like trying to evolve. Like life is trying to move forward. And maybe if it just goes a little bit slower, maybe that actually produces a better effect, because people can observe a system and see how it's going. They can see how it's going. And they can easier see, okay, maybe we can try this little bit of experiment here. Maybe it's going to take a few months. And then we can look back and see. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about. So I'm gonna keep follow DTube and see. It's really interesting, to be honest. Uh, see what happens and so on. And it's really interesting to experiment with game theory and see if you can make humans do like reward proof of brain, and see if it can work on a like global larger scale. Because I think a big aspect that people are gonna put a lot of human thought into the next couple of years is gonna be seeing how you can experiment with scale and see if stuff works, if it doesn't work, if something. And this is the fun part about this industry, is we learn so much from failure and we learn so much from success, and we can look at all the stuff that fails and see how can we build a better game theory machine. And yeah, it's really, really fun and interesting to follow. For example, the next couple of years, I think that animation is going to be huge, especially in the tokenized industry, because I see that with my phone, I can easier do virtual animations, and eventually you can make movies out of that, and eventually you can make more engaging content than a lot of other stuff that's out there. And you can innovate, and you can experiment, and that's going to be fun, to be honest. So yeah, I'm excited about the future. It's going to be interesting to follow. So yeah, have a great day, DTube and Steam blockchain. Bye bye.